Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Recently we spoke about the possible enemies that the Wood Elves may have in the upcoming yet to be announced DLC. So now I'd like to begin a new series where we'll look at each possible race and see what could be implemented for them. Today we'll be looking at my personal favourite race, and the one that I'm hoping will be the antagonist for this DLC, the Skaven, so without further ado, let's begin. The Skaven have received a lot of attention during the life cycle of Total War Warhammer 2, and understandably so. They have been seen as a fan favourite, and the Skaven themselves are very versatile when it comes to unit variety, where every major clan is so drastically different from each other in terms of mechanics, army composition and so on, that each major clan feels like a completely different faction, and the playstyles are so unique. The Skaven see everything and anything as a potential enemy, with the Wood Elves themselves being a definite target for the Council of 13. Why is this? Well, there are a multitude of reasons. Firstly, the Skaven have always been a rather curious race, always watching and learning from afar. It can be suspected that the Skaven are very much aware of the Oak of Ages and the World Roots, which are used by the Wood Elves to travel to different locations unseen and unknown, very much so like the ingenious Skaven under Empire tunnel system. However, the world routes have always allowed for much faster travel than the Under Empire system, lore-wise at least, and it would make sense for the Skaven to want to harness this power, and possibly even corrupt the Oak of Ages with Warpstone if they could. Should the Skaven ever get access to the world routes, they would be even more dangerous than they already are, as they would be able to launch offensives in locations that would be otherwise unavailable to them. Secondly, the Skaven and the Wood Elves both have a shared but different in practice interests when in regards to the various beasts of the Warhammer fantasy world. While the Wood Elves seek to protect nature from any harm and form bonds with great beasts in an effort to do so, the Skaven rather trap these great beasts and shove a piece of warpstone inside of them to see what would happen. Should they end up being mutated and lose their will to live, thus being easier to tame, well, perfect. If not, well, then it will just serve some other purpose. Still probably very destructive, however. Thematically, for a DLC, it would probably be centered around the latter of the two. Simply because, while the world routes do feature around the whole entire Warhammer world, the Oak of Ages, which is where the routes come from, does not feature in the Eye of the Vortex campaign, and I have a feeling that something around this would have to have the Oak. Of course, I could be wrong about the Skaven's incentives to fight the Wood Elves, but that's what a speculation is for. Now, why does a Skaven vs Wood Elf Lord pack have the potential to be such a great DLC? Well, the answer is rather simple. Despite the fact that both races are so drastically different from one another, with the Wood Elves being smaller armies of highly disciplined elves and stubborn treefolk, with the Skaven armies being massive amounts of expendable units, and war machines being held together by some sort of warpstone duct tape. It is in fact their similarities which would make for an interesting campaign. Both the Skaven and the Wood Elves make heavy use of hidden travel mechanics, allowing them both to be extremely competent in ambush warfare. These travel mechanics also aid the respective races in regards to campaign movement. This could either be in the offensive when trying to get into locations that may be of interest, or when needing to go on the retreat from someone or something. Think about this in a similar sense as a game of cat and mouse. However, the cat and the mouse do alternate depending on circumstances, and it is how you use your ability to ambush which would determine whether you become the cat or the mouse. Another similarity with both of these races, which could be worked into a campaign theme, is the heavy use of monsters and beasts by both respective races. So what if the theme for the DLC itself was who had the stronger monster? The Wood Elves would take a more natural approach, where the Skaven would be more fabricated. It's the age-old argument of science versus nature, which is truly the strongest. Of course, something like this points towards a certain legendary lord for the Skaven, Throt the Unclean, the master mutator himself. Who better to show off the power of science over nature than the Skaven, who is known to create such horrible monstrosities? There could be interesting scenarios where the Skaven are trying to hunt down great beasts in an effort to defeat them, capture them, mutate them, and enslave them. Just as an example here, say the Skaven have managed to track down a dragon. Should they defeat it and enslave it, then they would be able to have access to a unit known as Warpfire dragons. This is an actual monster that was released in one of the many supplements for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. It looks rather cool and, well, let's face it, we know how much Creative Assembly loves dragons. So I don't think that Creative Assembly would pass up the opportunity to release yet another dragon model. Also, just think about it for 1 second. Skaven with dragons, does that not sound horrendously overpowered, yet awesome at the same time? Yes, this is basically stealing the mechanic for Prince Imric, but then again, the mechanic works rather well and would probably work even better with a Skaven. Blatant favoritism here, but it's not like this mechanic would just be centered around dragons. There could be chances to fight against wolves, dragon ogres, giants, and so on, and if you would defeat them, you would be able to warpstone them up, type of thing. Does that make sense? The Wood Elves, on the other hand, would have to play more of a defender of nature type of role, where they would actually get very similar missions. They would get a certain amount of time to go to different locations across the world map and try and defend these great beasts and monsters from Skaven attacks. Should they be able to do so, then they would have options to recruit these great beasts and monsters into their rosters. I'm just spitballing here, but it does sound like something like this would work rather well. Now, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. Apologies for the short video today. Unfortunately, I had the new machine arrive, and yeah, it took a lot longer than expected. The guys who actually built the machine didn't get the drivers updated, the software, or, well, practically anything. So I spent the majority of my day, unfortunately, preparing the machine for videos and, well, streaming and so on. It kind of worked out worse for me because, well, this video might not sound as good as it normally does, but everything should be back to normal as from tomorrow. With that also being said, we are going to do a test stream with this machine, as now I can start running stuff with ultra graphics and that massive unit sizes and all the like. So we're going to be live on YouTube this Saturday, the same day this video releases, at 9 PM Gibraltar time, which is 8 PM UK time. Please bear with me if I start a few minutes later. I'm just trying to get used to this, as I'd like to be able to be more active with the community, and I think streaming might allow that. It's just a test, really. I just want to see how it goes. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various different social media links, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Using our special link and also the special code, which is also in the description below, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to Ryan Bertsche and Gibraltar LUSC for subscribing to us at our fame level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule and VSVasan for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you guys enough. The money earned from Patreon is going directly back into the channel, slowly upgrading little bits and bobs, just trying to get to a higher level of content for you guys. And a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. The support has been insane lately, and honestly, we can't be more than excited. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.